tearing down the walls that stand between freedom and tyranny, revealing who is behind the curtain, pushing the buttons and pulling the handles, sharing the truth one fact at a time. From behind enemy lines in FEMA Region 9, from the biggest little city in the world, this is The Views Expressed Live.
Get ready.
Hey folks, this is The Views Express live right here on the Free America Radio Network. Broadcasting live on freeamericaradio.us. Yes, I get those two. I get them mixed up. Also on wakingupthemasses.com. Also on 1610 AM in the Chickamauga, Georgia area. Hello, Georgia. What is happening in southern Nevada can and will happen around the country, regardless of whether or not you believe it's going to happen, regardless of whether or not you think it's a conspiracy theory. Facts are facts, folks. The facts are facts. You cannot get around them. They are not theoretical. They are there. You are not going to misplace them or shove them away, because eventually they will come back to bite you. Facts are facts. You're not going to go make a deal with somebody, hopefully hiding it through some other means or through family members, and not have it come back to bite you. Facts are facts. I've listened to Glenn Beck this morning. I've listened to David Knight and Alex Jones this morning. I listened to Pete Santilli this morning. And I saw the news conference that was out in Bunkerville on the Pete Santilli show on Ustream.com. And I got to tell you something. If there was any type of misinformation out there, I think the quote-unquote enemy would have shown their hand. But behind the scenes, somebody is showing their hand anyway. Go to Free America Radio on Facebook. There's a video of Senator Harry Reid on the cattle battle. He says, and I quote, "It's not over." Well, I'm going to call each and every citizen out in the state of Nevada. Each and every citizen of the state of Nevada, I'm calling you out. Period. End of sentence. Why? It's real simple. You got a jackass in Senator Harry Reid. You have someone who's corrupted, who's been corrupted, has always been corrupted, will always be corrupted because of the machinations of Washington, D.C. And that's all there is to it. Now either recall him and get him out of office, or I believe that the sheriff and the attorney general and the governor will have something to say once all the evidence is in. Folks, that's entirely up to you. Free America Radio at USA.com. Be right back. What we see is not always the truth. Lies, deceit, cover-ups. This is the world we live in. It is not reality. It is distorted reality. Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker. Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on Facebook and distortedreality.podbean.com. What is reality? The foundation of reality is based on many concepts. Each person perceives reality differently. In the book, The Grid by Marie D. Jones and Larry Flaxman, they explore the hidden infrastructure of reality. Get your copy today at Barnes & Noble and Amazon.com. The Grid by Marie D. Jones and Larry Flaxman. Hey folks, this is the Views Express live right here for the 14th of April, 2014. How y'all doing? How you doing, Bob Brutus over at Waking Up the Masses? Go listen to his show, Kicking the Capstone. Go listen to Brian Lang over at Live Truth Radio on Waking Up the Masses. Yes, and go listen to Distorted Reality .podbean.com with your host, Nick Tucker. You can also go to Facebook and search for Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on Facebook. So what's happening down in southern Nevada, in the northeast part of Clark County? Well, I'm going to say this. What we have here is a failure to communicate. Facts are facts, folks. You cannot steer around them. You cannot overlook them. You cannot run from them. A video that I have on Free America Radio on Facebook from PrepperChimp.com. It's a video. A short segment of Senator Reid is at the end of the short video. It is not necessarily what Senator Reid says that is important, but how he says it and his mannerisms that are indicative. So I want you to be the judge. I'm not going to comment on it. I want you to be the judge. Facts are facts, folks. I share with you the facts. I share with you the truth. I tell you things that, well, sometimes piss you off. But you know what? If you're pissed off, I must be over the target. I hit a nerve, didn't I? Or something within you went, he's right, but I don't want him to be right because I have my preconceived ideas that I live by. Let me tell you something, folks. If you have a perspective that is different than mine, I don't mind. I don't mind at all. Because everybody has their own perspectives. Everybody has their own way of looking at things. It's in the interpretation of the perception that you have of what it is you're looking at. And it's also has a great deal to do with the understanding of what you're interpreting. How is all that working out for you at this point? Have you figured out that Harry Reid is nothing but a corrupt bastard? Have you figured out that the left, right, conservative, liberal, Democrat, Republican are all one and the same party? Have you figured out that the corporations have bought out this country a hell of a long time ago? You know, why don't you do yourself a favor? Go to, I believe it is stopthecrime.net, and take a look at everything there is there, because Deborah Travaris, I believe, has everything for you in your face, showing you all of what it is that is behind the scenes. She shows a 6-minute, 59-second video of Nancy Pelosi signing on to Agenda 21. You look at information when you scroll down on the page, USA Incorporated, what happened to the Constitution and our Bill of Rights. There you go, right there. Courts are a scam and are just an arm of the Federal Reserve. Obama gets executive power czar. History lesson, World War I and the March on Washington, where veterans became the enemy of the state. The IRS is a private corporation founded the same year as the U.S. bankruptcy and chartered in Puerto Rico. Okay. This is The Great American Adventure. There's a book you can download there. I want people to understand one very important factor in all of this, of what happened here in southern Nevada this past week. It's not over. Harry Reid is right. It's not over. But I guarantee you, Senator Reid, we the people will show you the door. We know exactly what this country stands for. We can go back and find all the original documents in your own government and prove to you that all 535 congressmen and women are entirely and absolutely wrong. By the way, since 1933, Congress has been irrelevant. Since 1933, the United States has been under a constant state of emergency. In other words, martial law. You don't believe it? Go to stopthecrime.net. I don't know how much more you people are going to have to take before you realize you're screwed. I don't know how much more you're going to... You know, it almost reminds me of a short film, the predecessor to the book Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. And it was a short film called The Pedestrian. And if you go on YouTube, you can find it. It has David Ogden Stiers, you know, Charles Emerson Winchester III from MASH. Has him. But go look for it. Ray Bradbury, The Pedestrian. And you'll find out exactly what's going on. Oh, there's other movies as well. You can look at everything. As a matter of fact, if you have a Netflix account, you can go look up Atlas Shrugged, Part 1 and 2. You can find 1984. It might not be on Netflix, but it's somewhere. Let me tell you exactly what's going on in the United States of America briefly before I get to the next news story. It is being collapsed from the inside out by overreaching regulation. I think you and I have common sense enough to know how to regulate ourselves in certain industries and in certain ways, right? I think we're smart enough to know this. But when you have a contracted organization with the government, not a government bureaucracy, but a contracted private organization, coming onto someone's land that land has been grandfathered in to this family, and telling this family how to live, what to do, that they owe fees, that this, that. No. When you have that much power to over-regulate, then there's something wrong. There's something definitely wrong. Now, go to Free America Radio on Facebook. Let me scroll down. From MrConservative.com, posted today by Sean Brown. Thank you, Sean. Fed reverse course. Fed's reverse course. Say no deal with Nevada rancher. On Saturday, the headlines across Fox News. Stupid ads. On Saturday, the headlines across Fox News and the alternative media read that Bureau of Land Management had struck a deal with Nevada rancher Cliven Bundy. However, now that things have calmed and people don't seem as interested, they've backtracked and said that no deal has been made, vowing to continue to pursue actions against him. All last week, we saw images and videos of the armed standoff with federal agents amassing in the area while armed citizens flocked to the area to support and defend the rancher. There had been threats from both sides that violence would erupt if someone made the wrong move, and at one point, federal agents threatened to shoot the protesters dead. The standoffs seemingly ended when Sheriff Douglas Gillespie announcing on Saturday that the deal had been reached between the BLM and Bundy, with the BLM agreeing to back down and withdraw from the area. However, now that the BLM is saying that it had no part in the deal and with Bundy, and they'll be pursuing him, both administratively and judicially, for the $1 million they claim he owes in grazing fees. Quote, "The door isn't closed. We'll figure out a way to move forward with this," said BLM spokesman Craig Leff in an interview with the Associated Press. The BLM, quote, "The BLM and National Park Service did not cut any deal and negotiate anything. There is no deal we made," unquote. Bundy has refused to pay the fees since 1993 and has offered to pay them to Clark County instead. However, if the feds continue to pursue the fees, they'll more than likely be sending armed men to the ranch again to collect what they say they're owed. If that happens, it could provoke another armed standoff, as Americans surely won't back down again. To add to the situation, a private investigator by the name of Doug Hagman is claiming that he has a source within the Department of Homeland Security that told him the stand down by the feds on Saturday was only temporary and designed to convince Bundy supporters that the situation was resolved. He said that his source told him that the plan for releasing the cattle came on Friday, and that what happened on Saturday was merely a test to assess the strength of the resistance from the militias and others who had gone to the ranch to support Bundy. No matter what was said, again, folks, no matter what was said, it's safe to assume that the feds are doing nothing more than regrouping and finding a different method to go after the rancher. They never lose. They merely lick their wounds and come back fighting from a different angle. Do you think this is the end of the dispute? Well, I would say no. I would say that yes, the feds have gone off and licked their wounds, not so much, but they've backed off for now. And I'm going to say this. This can be resolved in two ways. Very specific ways. One, and this is true with any militia in the United States, in any state whatsoever. One, as the state militia, as a group, you should call on everybody, no matter if they want to come from another state or not, and you stay in southern Nevada, surrounding that ranch, surrounding 600,000 acres, anywhere you see that is strategic, and you stay there. And that's one thing. The second thing is you stay there until the governor of the state of Nevada declares that all BLM and all federal authorities are now an enemy of the state. Because they're coming in forcefully and unconstitutionally to tell a business, because he's a cattle rancher, that's his business, to put food on your table, folks, to tell a business, number one, how to operate, and number two, what to pay. Now, if he does owe the money, I certainly stand with him. Pay the county. Pay Clark County, whatever fees that are necessary within Clark County. Because wasn't his land already grandfathered in and given to him, and the courts have shown that prior to 1993? Because if that's the case, the BLM, the federal government, is now in, well, let's just say this. The federal government, the BLM, all of them from Washington, D.C., have now declared war on a sovereign citizen and a sovereign state of Nevada. That is where the governor steps in. The governor tells the sheriffs of every county, you got a job to do. I expect you to do it. Because now that the feds have declared war on a citizen of the great state of Nevada, we now have to protect that citizen. This is where the militia comes in. Now, if, on the other side of that coin, if people are really, 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 really pissed off, I would ask for calm. I would ask for calmness. I would ask that you pull back the anger. Because at this point in this time, we don't need someone out there so wrapped up in his anger and in his emotions and everything else that something might happen, and we don't want people to get hurt, especially the Bundys. Now, if you can do that, I would suggest getting down there right now to protect your fellow citizen from the unconstitutional and military tactics of the federal government, because you know damn well they're going to come with bigger guns. But I can also tell you this. There's an ace in the hole in this one, folks. Most of the military probably already know about this. And those that know about this and have lived in the area will be the first ones there. Yes, the military against its own. Or the military against contracted, outsourced mercenaries, Blackwater, whatever it is, AI, what I don't know, against the American people, regardless of what uniform you're wearing, Navy, Marines, Army, Air Force, Coast Guard, whatever, you're an American citizen. And you're there to protect an American citizen. Now, there is a point at which you need, let's just say rationale. Because if you go with guns a-blazing, you're not going to win. If you go there angry, if you poke the bear's going to kick your ass. You go there with calmness, with peace, God on your side, whatever deity you believe in, and you stand there and within civil disobedience, defend this family. Now, the question is, why do we have to be calm? My question to you to answer that is, why do you want bloodshed? I think America has had enough bloodshed. Don't you think? You show the power of the people and the power of the militia and the power of we the people. I guarantee you the government's going to think twice. Unless they're just cold-hearted, having no balls, having no spine, totally emotionless, and they just come in with guns a-blaring, guess what? That ain't going to happen. Because you and I, we the people, will stand up next to that horde or against that horde, and we will win. I would suggest ending all of this right now, today, this week, by abolishing the BLM and by throwing the Clark County Sheriff out of office. I would even call upon the Attorney General, the Lieutenant Governor, and the Governor of the great state of Nevada going down there and immediately saying to the feds at that point, you cross the line, you're under arrest. We're not playing around. He has the power to do that, by the way. All three of them do. I could be wrong in that, so someone want to correct me if I am? So what do? Well, we support what's right. We put our best foot forward, do the best we can to survive. We move out from there. And it can be, and I know in some cases people have feared because, but there's nothing to fear. You go in peace, you go there and implement civil disobedience, but remember, be prepared, because they might fire the first shot across your bow, and you have the God-given right to defend yourself by any means necessary. Now, step back for a moment and think about how you can resolve this without any of that happening. Well, like I just said, abolish the BLM. Get them out of here. They don't belong here. Okay? Have the attorney file a lawsuit against the federal government. There's a grievance. It's right there in the First Amendment. And also file papers under the 10th Amendment. Don't know how long that will take, but at least the papers will be filed to secede from the nation. But that's entirely up to the governance of the state of Nevada. Folks, I'm taking a long break here. It's unusual. I usually take a 2.5 minute break here, but it's going to be a little bit longer than that. So, freeamericaradio.us. freeamericaradio.us is the website. freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. I shall return right after this. What we see is not always the truth. Lies, deceit, cover-ups, This is the world we live in. It is not reality. It is distorted reality. Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker. Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on Facebook and distortedreality.podbean.com. Waking up the masses. Truth, knowledge, and wisdom for your consumption. Waking up the masses. News and views concerning the New World Order. Waking up the masses. Join Bob Brutus as he pulls back the curtain on the esoteric agenda which has been in play for a millennia. Waking up the masses. WakingUpTheMasses.com. The President of the United States turns the country into a dictatorship. And what happens after he does? Find out in the book Dictator in Chief by Brian Keller. Available at Amazon.com or CreateSpace.com. Eastland Sci-Fi Radio Theater is looking for you. Are you a voice actor looking to hone your abilities? Are you a writer looking for actors? Then Eastland Sci-Fi Radio Theater is for you. If you are a voice actor or a writer of sci-fi themed radio plays, send your information to Eastland Radio Films at USA.com. For more information, go to eastlandradiofilms.wix.com/eastlandfilms for more information. If you are a voice actor, send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Films at USA.com. What is there to do on a Friday night? Why not listen to Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show, 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern, on Spreaker.com. Hey folks, how you doing? This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce for the 14th of April 2014. How y'all doing? This is the Views Expressed live right here on the Free America Radio Network. Hi. Hi. You guys doing good? Yeah, I hope so. You know? Seriously. Because, you know? Yeah, let me turn this down here for you. There we go. What do we got? Go to Free America Radio on Facebook. Free America Radio on Facebook. From Gizmodo.com. Police are testing a live Google Earth to watch crime as it happens. They've had that technology around a while, folks. TheRightScoop.com. Government seizing private property in Colorado because shut up. That's why. I want to read you this because it's very important to understand who's running the country. And Bob Brutus knows about this. And I'm sure if I am wrong or if this article is wrong that I'm going to read, you'll let me know. Bob Brutus, Kicking the Capstone, WakingUpTheMasses.com. Evolve Fest on Facebook put up a photo. You can see it there on Free America Radio on Facebook. Quote, in order to finalize the New World Order process, we need a third world war to exterminate 90% of the global population. This will resolve the problem of human overpopulation, as well as put an end to civil disobedience. We will then proceed to automize industry and create a globalized feudalist system in the name of saving our planet, unquote. Jeff Rothschild, Vice President of Facebook Free Speech Given in China. Jeff Rothschild must be stopped from trying to cause more genocide for profit. Vice President of Facebook. A couple of words in here I'm not going to say because this is a family show. But let me start off by saying this. It is from Evolve Fest, one word, on Facebook. You can see it there on Free America Radio on Facebook. It says here, OMG with an exclamation mark after it. I see the big picture. I just found out that China's money is debt and interest free because they issue their own money and have locked out the Rothschild central bankers. So was Putin and Russia. The Rothschilds think they are the kings on the chessboard and are planning to take out both Russia and China to regain financial control over their markets. The Rothschilds' elite are psychopathic control freaks, and whomever they cannot control, they will seek to destroy, as if they have some kind of divine claim upon all flesh to pay tribute to them, or maybe to their master, Lucifer, for whom they are the earthly and human representatives. The Rothschilds are the Vatican's bankers, and the Vatican is the visible institution of the Antichrist, or that which is against divine order, the antagonist of life itself. Bob Brutus knows all about this. Go check him out. Kicking the Capstone on wakingupthemasses.com. Now, the Zionist Rothschilds are following their Luciferian marching orders, having helped to establish the Jewish state in Palestine in 1948, according to the Balfour Declaration. Look that up on your favorite search engine. Supposedly as reparations to the Jews after the Nazi atrocities. But, in fact, it was a way for the Luciferians to create a Zionist state, co-opt the Jewish homeland movement, and to round up and gather all Jews into one central location for the next phase of their Luciferian plan. By the way, let me interject something here before I go on. This is practically right, and Bob Brutus can fill me in with the details later if he'd like, and also Peter Kling knows about this. Peter Kling on Facebook, Kling, Peter Kling, knows a lot about this as well, that the Jews that are there now as of 1948 are not the Jews of the Bible, just to let you know. By the way, is the Bible a lie? We'll get into that in another show. Let me continue on here. This is on Free America Radio on Facebook. This is from Evolve Fest. Continuing now, since China and Russia have essentially regained total control of their own financial markets and have said, go F yourself to the Vatican Babylonian banksters, the Rothschilds now intend to incite a fiery conflagration in the Middle East, which will accomplish two of Lucifer's primary objectives. 1, the destruction of the Jews. 2, the submission of China and Russia to the Rothschilds' banking elite, that is, to the Luciferian Vatican. The Vatican is the money for the New World Order. Washington, D.C., city-state into itself, is the military arm. And the city of London is the administrative part of it all. I think that's how it works, right, Bob Brutus? Continuing first, they will create a false flag scenario that incites Israel to strike against Iran, another country without a single Rothschild's own bank. Since Russia is a strong ally of Iran, they will rush to assist. The U.S. will then get involved to stand with its ally Israel against Russia. China, as a major ally of Russia, will then get involved to stand with them against the U.S. The resulting conflagration will deplete and make weak all three superpowers, and Israel will likely be reduced to rubble. Then the Rothschilds step in with the final implementation of their globalist NWO agenda, full-spectrum dominance, panopticon surveillance, and total control through a microchipped population. You see, we are the only ones that can prevent this nightmare scenario from unfolding. We must expose the central bankster elite and all of their wicked works. By the way, folks, let me interject something here before I go on. In the 90s, in the mid-90s, somewhere about 96, 97, 98, I read a story back then about RFID chips in Gauteng, or what was Gauteng, South Africa, Johannesburg, South Africa, where in a grocery store they put these RFID chips on on a row of products. They put the products in a grocery cart. They ran this grocery cart underneath this reader. It was huge. It was, like an MRI. I don't know. That's what it said. Just ran it through this RFID reader, and immediately within seconds, the money was taken out of the bank account, and all you had to do was pack your groceries and go home. Last year, I saw this is your cell phone technology that I'm about to talk about just a second here before I get back to this article. In Japan, I believe it was, there was a wall at the subway station where it was just a wall, just a wall of pictures like rows of food in a grocery store. The person, and it had QR codes on it. And if you don't know what those are, look that up. And the person standing there waiting for the train would just, go to different products with the QR code, boom, 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 click, boom, whatever. By the time they got home or shortly thereafter, their food would be delivered. You want to talk about a panopticon surveillance and full spectrum dominance of the globalist NWO agenda? Yeah. Let me continue here. Let me go back a few and say the resulting conflagration will deplete all three, make weak all three superpowers, and Israel will likely be reduced to rubble. That's China, Russia, and America, the United States. Then the Rothschilds step up with the final implementation of their globalist NWO agenda, full spectrum dominance, panopticon surveillance, and total control through microchipped population. You see, we are the only ones that can prevent this nightmare scenario from unfolding. We must expose the central bankster elite and all their wicked works. And the writer here says, and I quote, "I, for one, deny Satan and all of his wicked works." The writer continues on, "I affirm the reality that has been gifted to us by the Creator and swear my love and allegiance to the Creator and to our Lady Earth, who has suffered terribly at the hands of these corrupted beings known as the central banking elite and their minions. By exposing their innumerable atrocities, we will emancipate humanity from its mental slavery and move into the greatest period of freedom and happiness that humanity has ever experienced. The whole world is waiting on us. If not us, who? If not now, when?" The only option we have, people, is to stand up to these jackasses and do what we have to do. Because, if you've ever stood up to a bully, you know what they would do. I just saw a video of a bully on a bus, some girl, whatever it was, and she'd bully everybody. Well, somebody got tired of it, got up while this bully, this girl, whatever, was sitting there in a bus seat, and this one person got up and started beating the crap out of her. And that's how you handle a bully. Except for the other bully that was recently, it's been in the news probably, and you've probably seen it. If not, a 62-year-old man for 15 years or more bullied his neighbors because of the neighbors' disabled children. So the guy, the 62-year-old guy, would, he was 47, 50, whatever, at the time, he kept bullying the neighbor, and the neighbor has a disabled child. Neighbor got pissed off, went to the court, and the court decided to humiliate this bully by making him and ordering him to stand outside with a sign saying, "I'm a bully," and a whole lot more on the sign. Let me tell you again what Jeff Rothschild, vice president of Facebook, said in a speech given in China. Quote, "In order to finalize the New World Order process, we need a third world war to exterminate 90% of the global population. This will resolve the problem of human overpopulation, as well as put an end to civil disobedience. We will then proceed to automize industry and create a globalized feudalist system in the name of saving our planet." Unquote. Jeff Rothschild must be stopped before trying to cause more genocide for profit. Saving our planet. He's going to use environmentalists and those Nazis, yes, I use that term loosely, by the way, to force the governments to write laws which would be exactly what the United Nations wanted within their Agenda 21 Sustainable Development policies. Why do you think people have been arrested for having food gardens in their front yard? Go to Free America Radio on Facebook. It isn't enough, as far as I'm concerned, from my perspective, it isn't enough just to look out and have an opinion on something. It's a whole lot more when you get up off your ass and go make changes. Certain things for me are changing, slowly I might add, but they're changing. And my whole outlook of these things are changing. Not what I'm talking about, but let's just say I'm getting sick and tired of people saying that none of this exists. I'm changing my view in terms of this, and I'll just state it now. Those who contradict me are a waste of my frickin' time. I don't want to spend 2 seconds in the same room trying to explain to someone who is closed-minded and has preconceived ideas about exactly what's going on around them while they stand there with their fingers in their ears going, la, 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 la. Not going to happen. I'm done with stupid people, I'm done with negative people, and I'm done with those people trying to contradict me, or anyone else for that matter. I listen to what I listen to, and from my perspective, I can make an assessment of what is and judge it for what it is and come to my own conclusions on it. I don't need you negative SOBs, to tell me what I should think or how I should feel. Go away. Have a nice day. From TeaPartyCrusaders.com. This was written by Pamela Geller, and posted up on TeaPartyCrusaders.com. Posted today. posted the 5th of April, 2014. Unreal. 22 jihad terror training centers discovered in America. FBI hands tied because Obama refuses to declare a group a foreign terrorist organization. The jihad terror training compounds in the U.S., a news story that she broke, Pamela Geller broke back in 2007, are growing. And now she says, I have obtained exclusive information showing that one of them has placed members of local police for, let me say that again. She has obtained exclusive information showing that one of them has placed members on local police forces, ensuring that nothing is done to stop or even monitor their activities. PJ Media reported, quote, Federal Bureau of Investigation's documents detailing 22 site networks of terrorist training villages sprawled across the United States. There are 22 sites across the United States. According to the documents, the FBI has been concerned about these facilities for about 12 years, but cannot act against them because of the U.S. State Department has not yet declared that they're an umbrella group of MOA, Muslims of Americas, as a foreign terrorist organization. You can read the rest of that story because it's vitally important to understand one very important thing. Facts are facts, folks. They stare you right in the face. They can bite you in the butt. Facts are facts. People have already blown the lid off the fact that there are terrorist groups here, jihadist terrorist groups here, funded by the CIA, funded by your tax dollars. There's training camps all over the U.S. Matter of fact, many, many years ago, probably late 90s, when I was living in Stockton, California, I remember reading a story about something brewing that the FBI was looking into. Now, remember, folks, all these jihadist, terrorist groups in America are funded by your tax dollars. And other dollars as well. But now remember that. The FBI, the federal government, was looking into allegations that there were terrorist groups and cells all over the U.S. They found one in Lodi, California, which is like 20 minutes north of Stockton, or 30 minutes north of Stockton. It was on a ranch, and it was funded by an organization in the Middle East who was getting their money from an organization out on the East Coast of the United States. Folks, terrorist cells are here. You better prepare yourself. And to all you military folk out there, former and current, and all you law enforcement folk out there, former and current, I got 3 words for you. Lock and load. When I get back from the top of the hour break, I want to take you to thelastgreatstand.com. 14 governors prepare state militia defenses to be ready for Obama's rogue federal forces. So why doesn't this governor in Nevada do the same thing? You know, I'm kind of concerned about that. I mean, I wonder why he's not doing it. Kind of makes me worried a little bit. Now, he's Republican. So, would it be different under a Democrat? Probably not. Just the ideology would be a little bit different, but and things would not be so conservative at this point. But it probably wouldn't be any different. That the governor, no matter who it was, would probably not intervene in the situation down in southern Nevada. He probably, wouldn't make a huge scene when it came to Muslims in this state. But I really think... No. Let me take that back. I believe that we need to change the way we look at things. It's not so much about Democrat, Republican. It's not so much about liberal and conservative. It's not so much about this or that. You know what it's about? Humanity. It's about, and I really don't care what your background is, it's about survival. And if we come together as part of humanity and a part of a group, and we work together to survive regardless of our backgrounds, I'm sure that we will. But if there's anybody that doesn't think that that will work, all I can say is you've put your head in the wrong hole. So we do what we do. We have what we have. We understand these things in the way that we understand them, as much as we can. I don't think there's really a definitive point at which we see these things. We can't nail it down to just, one size fits all, here it is. No, I don't think so. I think there's a whole different ballgame when it involves certain people on certain levels with certain ideologies. But then again, where do you stand? How do you see these things? What's going on with you? Folks, I'm going to take an extended break on this one, another extended break. And I'll be back when I get back. So if you got to do what you got to do, go do what you got to do. I shall return, and you will know it because you'll hear my voice. So Free America Radio at USA.com is the website. FreeAmericaRadio.USA is the website. FreeAmericaRadio.USA is the website, yes. Free America Radio at USA.com is the email. Let me say that slower. Free America Radio at USA is the email. Hello, everybody out there in the Chickamauga, Georgia area. Hope you're having fun today on this Monday, the 14th of April, 2014. I shall return. The President of the United States turns the country into a dictatorship. And what happens after he does? Find out in the book Dictator in Chief by Brian Keller. Available at Amazon.com or CreateSpace.com. Eastland Radio Repertory Theater is looking for you. Are you a voice actor? Do you want to hone your abilities? Please send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Theater at USA.com. We are currently looking for voice actors to fill certain character roles in an ongoing radio play in development. Please send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Theater at USA.com.
Lock it on to the best station on the net.
For all you independent artists, musicians, and filmmakers, there is a place for you. Radio Rock 92.6 The Blitz. Go to radiorocktheblitz.blogspot.com.
Late Night in the Midlands is an alternative media that covers the truth, theory, and fact that the lamestream media won't talk about. We cover everything from the known and the unknown, the normal and the paranormal, the government lies and the government ties, and even their thrive. We tell what's coming, what's going, whether it be politics or archaeologists. We have an amazing fan base, and our shows are all archived to be heard millions of times more. So tell your friends, your family, and anybody you care about LateNightInTheMidlands.com. Become a member and be informed.
Get your morning started with the Morning Brew on 92.6 The Blitz. Music from the 60s, 70s, and more. The Blitz 92.6. Go to radiorocktheblitz.blogspot.com.
Free Talk Live.
You give someone an ounce of liberty and they'll go around abusing it and harming everyone else with it.
If we legalize guns...
People will be shooting people everywhere.
Right.
If you legalize prostitution, people will be having sex on the street corners. If you legalize drugs, we'll have heroin vending machines in the streets. We've heard it all on Free Talk Live. They take it to the most absurd, illogical extremes, and you're absolutely right, Alexander. It's okay for them to have freedom.
Yeah, you can give them a gun. They won't go around shooting people. But watch out with their neighbor, because you give them a gun, they'll go around in a rampage around the city killing everyone.
But yes, they can be trusted, and apparently the government can be trusted too, because magically, we only elect the best of the best, the cream of the crop. The bureaucrats that are administering these programs are the upper echelon of society, the most trustworthy individuals.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes when I squint, I swear I can see a halo above their heads.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Are you tired of the mainstream media? The media that is so biased, you wouldn't even let your dog listen to it? Well, there's an answer. Angel Club.
On RadioFreedom.us.
Just listen to her fans.
One hell of a writer. I've read a considerable amount of her articles and quite impressed.
Until Angel, my life was void of meaning.
I want to thank you for saving my goldfish from drowning.
I love Angel Clark's honesty and her down-to-earth concern about the people.
She is very dedicated.
Angel, we need you.
Angel's a sexy woman. I think she's going to go places, but I don't know where.
Ladies and gentlemen, she does a good job.
If it wasn't for Angel,
You saved his life, and I will be indebted to you forever.
Sussex, CountryAngel.com.
Be a part of Angel's Army.
Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. on RadioFreedom.us.
Free Talk Live.
Do you guys have a zombie plan? I'm just wondering what this country's going to do if we had some sort of apocalypse like that.
Like a zombie attack.
Do?
People coming out of the ground, like in Thriller, like in Michael Jackson's
like 28
Thriller.
days later, like a virus or something.
Oh, okay.
I mean, people don't come back to life.
Well, now, there are different kinds of zombies out there.
Now,
but let me go through the types of zombies. I mean, you've got the ones that can crawl out of the ground, right? And then she was talking about like an infection kind of zombie, like a la Resident Evil, for instance. So ideally, if you're going to have to perish at the hands of a zombie, which would be the preference? Would you prefer to have your brains eaten, or would you prefer to become one of them?
I think I'd rather just die. The last thing I'd want is, of course, the people you split up with. Then I'm talking my wife and my child. I'm coming back. I'm wanting to eat Laura's brains. It's bad. It's bad.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. What does freedom mean? Tune in to LRN.FM to find out. LRN.FM is the Liberty Radio Network, a collection of live talk radio and podcasts, all coming from a principled pro-liberty perspective. LRN.FM show hosts aren't left, right, or conspiracy kooks. You can tune in 24/7 to LRN.FM via your phone, computer, satellite, and more. Listen free anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
tearing down the walls that stand between freedom and tyranny, revealing who is behind the curtain, pushing the buttons and pulling the handles, sharing the truth one fact at a time. From behind enemy lines in FEMA Region 9, from the biggest little city in the world, this is The Views Expressed Live.
Get ready.
Hey folks, this is The Views Expressed Live right here for the 14th of April 2014. How are ya? You doing good? It's Monday. I know. Mondays suck, don't they? Monday's really bad. Yeah, that's my little imitation of Alex Jones. Anyway, hey, I got something to say before. I've only got a couple articles. If you want to go see what I'm going to be talking about here in a bit, go to Free America Radio on Facebook. Free America Radio on Facebook. By the way, little note. Things are changing for Free America Radio Network. Just want to leave you with that. Just think, what's he going to do? I'll tell you. I'll fill you in when I when I get more of the details worked out. Go to Free America Radio on Facebook. Go check things out. I'll be talking about those articles here in a momento. But I mentioned Alex Jones, and I want to make sure that people understand exactly exactly the way they should understand this. First of all, I listen to all sorts of programs. I listen to Glenn Beck. I listen to Alex Jones. I sometimes listen to Josh Tolley, which is on YouTube as well. Sometimes I listen to Pete Santilli, the Pete Santilli Show on GorillaMediaNetwork.com or GMN.is. And I found out one thing, or at least for me, from my perspective. There are so many people. Let me explain it as simply as this. Think about yourself. Think about you have 4 friends. You and your 4 friends are in the room. You guys are talking about, football. You guys are talking about, taking a boat out and going fishing. You guys are talking about all these things. And then the subject of politics comes up. Chances are 3 of your friends, or at least 2 other of your friends, are going to walk away. Possibly. But for this illustration, let's say all 5 of you are standing there talking about what's happening in Southern Nevada, or what's happening in Middle East, or what's happening with Washington, D.C., or whatever. And y'all have, each and every single one of your friends, you included, have a different perspective on the situations. So what you try to do is you try to bring into the conversation your particular perspective on the situation. You follow me so far? In that, you tell your 4 friends your particular position from your particular perspective. They all look at you and just think that you've got 3 heads, 2 horns, you've taken Prozac too much, and you've, stayed out in the sun too long. But then you clarify everything you say, and you make a note to them that if you don't believe me, go check it out yourself. So they go check it out. Statistically, 1 out of all you 5, 1 of your friends are going to come back and say that you're wrong, They're going to use certain bits of information. I say bits for a reason. Certain bits of information to use as proof against you. And your other friends are probably going to see that as, yeah, maybe he's right. So you take all of your information that you have gathered and you put it on the table. You show documents and files and stories and articles and government stuff. And what's that cause your friend to do? Statistically, your friend will pick up his information and walk away. The other 2 or 3 of your friends will look at you and begin the argument. They'll say, what about this? What about that? Oh, yeah, that source you have. Yeah, that person's this and that person's that. And, oh, yeah, you listen to that. Oh, my God, you're listening to the wrong people. That person is connected to this company and this organization, blah, 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 blah. Going down the line, right? They'll just argue. Who is the smart one out of the 4 friends you have? Who is the most intelligent out of the 4 friends that you have? From my perspective, it's the person that walked away. Not because that person didn't want to argue with you, but that person knew, oops, I didn't have all my ducks lined up in a row. I didn't have the information behind me to prove myself right, number 1, and number 2, to present as my argument to this debate. Getting back to Alex Jones and Glenn Beck, Pete Santilli, Michael Savage, Josh Tolley, and others. And I will say this. If you look at a 100-page document, I'm just using that as an example. If you look at a 100-page document and you read the first 2 pages and then you put it down and then you walk away, you just put it away, okay, I know all about this. You got a 100-page document, but you only read 2 pages of it. Do you really think you know the rest of the document? No. It's just silly. That's like reading Mark Twain and only reading the first chapter and saying you know the whole story. That's a bunch of bullcrap. So what happens is you get people like Glenn Beck, who I like and I follow and I respect him, but I disagree with some of the things that he says and talks about. That's fine. We don't all have to agree on everything. And he said a few things which I just sit there going, excuse me, really? You're looking at this? What? Well, I found out he didn't look at all of the information, such as information from stopthecrime.net with Deborah Travaris. I noticed that he only took bits and pieces of information. Told you to hang on to that bits and pieces part, right? And he bashed, again, a particular alternative news source. But one of his co-hosts on the show said it out loud, and that would be Infowars.com. And even in his co-hosts that he has on his morning show have an afternoon show called Pat and Stu on theblaze.com on the radio section. You can just click that. It's free audio. And they mentioned it and mentioned Infowars.com. Or Pat Gray did, one of the hosts of the show. My point? They didn't have all the pieces to the puzzle, nor did they have every piece of information available to them to present their side of the argument. And as far as I am concerned, they fall short of really getting down to the nitty-gritty of who and what is behind the stories. So I listened to Pete Santilli. Pete Santilli ran a Ustream live video from the press conference that was out there, or a press thing out there in Bunkerville, Nevada, showing Sheriff Mack, showing people from Montana, Arizona, Utah, bunch of people. Okay? Now, I'm sure that everybody saw that video where Ammon Bundy, the son of Cliven Bundy, was tased, and he just pulled the taser things out of him, and they kept shooting him with tasers, and the people around him kept pulling these things out of him. These sheriffs were not backing down. These BLM people were not backing down. Information has come out from behind the scenes, too numerous to talk about right now, but I can guarantee you that there's more to come. Harry Reid's fingerprints are all over this. Regardless of whether or not Glenn Beck believes it or not, that's entirely up to him. He didn't investigate this thing thoroughly, because I bet you $1 he found information, his minions in his company found Infowars.com talking about this. He used that to bash Infowars and to make his point because he has an agenda. Like I said, I don't always agree with everything he says, but I like the guy. Now, if anyone contradicts anything that has been said, the burden of proof is on you. Is it not? I mean, it would be on me if I contradicted someone, wouldn't it? So therefore, my whole point of that whole rant would be this. Get all the information that you possibly can. Get it from every single source that you can get your hands on. Even stuff that you hear from, Stefan Molyneux or any number of people from behind the scenes. And then present your argument. And we'll sift through it to find out what the agenda is of these that are calling for a global world order. Because, that example I used with you and your 4 friends in a room and one walks away when you present all the information, he's the smart guy. The other 3 are just argumentative and have their own agendas. The smart guy walked away. Why? Because he's going to go check this stuff out. The other 3 are just going to sit there saying all kinds of crap, making themselves sound stupid. I'm going to go to the Spreaker chat and say hello to a couple of people over there. Paranormal Phil. Thoughts and prayers and positive energy coming to you, my friend, for what has happened in your life. And also to Apocalypse. I love that name. That's so cool. I like that. That's cool. They're in the Spreaker chat. So hello, guys. I appreciate you guys being here. So think about this. You hear the news. You hear the state-run media talk about what's happening in Southern Nevada. You then have to assess the situation yourself. Just do not go with one resource. Check them all out. Infowars.com, Guerrilla Media Network, whatever. Check them all out. TheBlaze.com, everything. And find out what their perspective is. Assess the situation and draw your own conclusions. And make up your own mind as, what your perspective of this thing is. Go to Free America Radio on Facebook. Now, I talked about this just a second ago before the bottom of the hour break, or before the top of the hour break, sorry. Jeez, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Go to therightscoop.com. No, that's not about ice cream, people, even though I love ice cream. Therightscoop.com. Government seizing private property in Colorado because shut up, that's why. This was posted yesterday by Caleb Howell. Thank you, Caleb. From therightscoop.com. IJ Review via Gateway Pundit brought attention to this story, which aired on Fox News last week. Colorado couple Andy and Seal Barry are locked in a battle in Summit County over their property. A battle they are likely to lose. At issue is an ownership of their private property, which the government wants to seize because they want to. What Big Brother wants, apparently Big Brother gets. This is just one more example of the breakneck speed at which American liberties and guarantees of rights are being eroded. Guns, property, what to eat, what we're allowed to say, to hear, and to think, what the press can report, and our religious beliefs, all of these are under direct and relentless assault. I mean, I don't want to exaggerate, but that's what Caleb Howe says. Caleb Howe is a blogger, tweeter, and owner of shoes. That's what his bio says. He has been writing at Red State for a decade. He has also been a contributor to AOL's Political Machine, Mediaite, and a men's humor website, Asylum. Caleb was born in the lost colony of Roanoke and raised by a pack of wild accountants. He has been described as, quote, accidentally funny, annoying, a right-wing nut job, and most commonly, who? A former graphic designer, web developer, and United States Marine, Caleb is now a full-time internet schmuck and gadabout. So there you go. Free America Radio on Facebook. Thank you very much. As Elvis would say, thank you. Thank you very much. Now, sorry for the silence. I had a passing thought. Whew, there it went. Anyway, I want to bring this up. There are things happening in America. Or excuse me, let me be specific. There are things happening in the U.S. that require a diligent mind and an active spirit. We need to stay above the fray. We need to stay positive. We need to focus our energy on changing things peacefully and hopefully make them right. I've spent many a year looking into a lot of things in my life, making sure that there were certain things that were going to help me succeed in whatever it is I set my mind to. The first thing I had to do was to accept the fact that I have flaws. I don't think anybody can walk around going, I'm perfect. Well, there's only one man that was perfect, apparently. I don't see you walking on water anytime soon, eh? So, spent many years looking into a lot of things, and I can guarantee you that I have made tremendous and horrendous mistakes. But they're all for the good. They're all for the good. And as we look at amongst this land we call our home, the United States of America, we see just how the horde of orgs, or orcs, if you will, want to destroy the very fabric of this nation. The very fabric was built upon the principles of liberty and freedom. The very spirit that guided us had something in mind, apparently. And, of course, over the past 238 years of the existence of the United States, things changed. Specifically in 1871. When it went from the United States, when it went to the Constitution of, or excuse me, let me reiterate that. Scratch that. It went from the Constitution for the United States of America to the Constitution of the United States of America. The wording is important, folks. And you can ask Nick Tucker about that, too, as well. Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker on Facebook. In 1871, the Act of 1871 changed all that. It took us from a very, very, very industrious country, looking at each and every state trading and doing this and making things and doing it's very good, to a corporation. And you can go on Free America Radio on Facebook and look down there, and if you can't find it, look for the Corporation of the United States of America, or the United States Incorporated, and you'll find that it's directly related to the foundations in the Act of 1871. And you can look at other things. As a matter of fact, you can go back to the previous broadcasts of distortedreality.podbean.com, and Nick Tucker talks extensively about that, about the Act of 1871. My whole point is, this is not the country our ancestors wanted. And I am at the point where I have almost, not completely, but almost given up hope that Washington, D.C. would ever change. What? Yeah. Oh, they'll change, all right. They'll change when millions of militia members, and there are that many in the United States, probably more. Washington, D.C. will change when militia members go to the gates, jump the gates, get into the White House, and arrest these current criminals that are in there right now. I can tell you right now that about 35% of Congress, as it sits now, will be turncoats. They will point their fingers at those they work for. And I know that people will be pleased, but it's going to take that kind of thought, that kind of action. And if it's not that kind of action on a national scale, we're going to have to do it on a local scale. So militias, all I can say is cowboy up. Because if you don't you have some explaining to do to the American people. Folks, it's the bottom of the hour. We got a half hour left. I will talk to you in a minute and a half. Want to know what's happening all around us? You do? Great! Come check out the Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show, Friday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on Spreaker.com. Have a nice trip. See you next fall. Attending their daughter's wedding in South Africa promised to be a vacation of a lifetime. But first, they had to face the treacherous gauntlet known as modern-day travel. Waiting for them on the other side of the world are an honest-to-goodness safari with amorous lions and elephants with anger issues, a life-affirming visit to a South African school, and an anxious bride and groom standing patiently at the airport with a sign that reads, "What took you so long?" The answers lie within the pages of Please Hold Thumbs, a not-so-round trip to South Africa, a true tale of turbulence and triumph from travel mug Scott Cherney, author of Red Asphalt. Available at Amazon.com in paperback and on the Kindle.
This is Michael Vera with Late Night in the Midlands, and you're listening to the views expressed live with your host, Reverend Wayne Pierce, on the Free America Radio Network.
Hey, folks, yeah. You like that music? I do. Yeah. So, Free America Radio on Facebook. Hey, you know what? Almost forgot my own promo. Go to freeamericaradio.us. If you want to donate to the Free America Radio Network, you can. It'll help us get to the next level. We're already broadcasting on 1610 AM in the Chickamauga, Georgia area. Thank you, Bob Brutus, over at Waking Up the Masses. Appreciate that very much. We want to get to the next level. And no, I'm not talking about iHeartRadio. By the way, I'll talk about that later. Free America Radio Network is sharing the truth one fact at a time. And if we ain't got it, we'll find it. And if we overlook something, we'll find it. Okay? Currently, right now, it's a one-man operation. But that doesn't exclude you. If you have articles or websites or anything that you write that you want to put your little handy-dandy signature on, and you write an article, you can send that to me and I'll post it up on freeamericaradio.us. Give you all the credit for it. Yes. If you have a radio show on Spreaker.com or whatever network you have a online radio show, please send that to me as well, and I will promote that. Now, one last thing. If you want, you can even sponsor the Views Expressed Live. If you have any questions about that, please go and email me at freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. If you want to know the prices, and I'll redo them as well, all you have to do is ask. I've got my show, the Wayne S. Pierce Show.weebly.com. That has a sponsors page on it. For that show, those are good numbers. The Wayne S. Pierce Show.weebly.com. But for this show, Email me. We'll discuss it. I'll work something out. It'll be a win-win for you and me. Email me. freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. Hey, I want to give a big shout out to the folks in the Spreaker chat. And hey, you guys over at Waking Up the Masses in the live broadcast chat over there. Hey, come on over because I want to know if you're listening to me. You're probably wondering, why aren't you over here in our chat box? Because I'm not. Not that I don't want to be, I'm just not. Okay. Come on over here to the Spreaker side of things, folks. Anyway. Paranormal Philip Pierce. Pray for him and his family, thank you. He says, did you see the story I posted on your page about the other ranch in New Mexico that is trying to be seized? Yes, as a matter of fact. Now that, when you put that up there, oh yeah, there is one. And one in Colorado, as a matter of fact, the one I just mentioned. Up on Free America Radio on Facebook. Question, folks. Let me throw a scenario out at you and then ask you this question, okay? You walk, well, you're driving down the street. You're in your car, you're tooling along, you're just going to the mall, you just want to get out and blow off some stank and just get out and exercise and blah, blah, blah. You're driving, you make a turn into the mall, and then you get hit by the woo from the cop behind you. Lights go on, blah, blah, blah. You turn into the parking lot. He comes up to your door and says, may I see your driver's license and proof of insurance? What do? There are websites and memes, if you've seen them on Facebook, showing you how not to talk to police officers. Let me say this. I don't recommend not talking to them, but it is your constitutional right not to. Just want to say that. Just want to put it out there. My question to you is this. How is it that a organization, i.e. the local city police department, can dictate to you through the courts, the judicial system, how much you have to pay for a fine? I asked that question, and you guys need to go look that up or even answer that on your own if you have an answer. If you're in the Spreaker chat, please answer that. How does the judicial system specifically tell you how much you have to pay for a fine? Where do they get that information? Okay. My point is, it's real simple. My point is, when you have an infraction, that's what they call it, an infraction. When you sign that little ticket, you're submitting yourself to the mercy of the judicial system, but what you're doing is you're also giving up a portion of your constitutionally protected God-given rights. Okay? Just wanted to point that out to you. Because all of that is, all this, fines and the fees and all this, that, and the other thing. You know what that is? You know what the cops do now? They're not policing the areas for crime unless you're growing a garden in your front yard, a food garden. No. You know what that is? It's revenue generation. Okay, that's all they do now. It's just revenue generation. That's it. Done. You go into court, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I say that. I'll tell you why I say that. I got pulled over. Now, here's the situation that happened in my, how I got the ticket. Driving along on a freeway. Driving along. Myself and Diana. And I almost missed my off-ramp. Almost missed it. So you know that little area that you got on the freeway, and then you got the off-ramp, and then you have that little space in the middle. You know what I'm talking about, right? Well, I zipped in there, zipped into my off-ramp, and got on, and immediately got to the stoplight. And as I got to the stoplight, boop, I hear the woo, and, behind me. And I'm like, oh, crap, what do I do now? Didn't really, I wasn't upset or anything. I was just like, what? Oh, okay. Well, odd. Let's see what he's got. So, make a long story even longer. No, make a long story short. The ticket said, and the court had said, that I crossed the gore line. Does anybody know what a gore line is? You know what the gore line is? When you're on the freeway and you're going to get off, that line, that solid line that you cross in that space that's over there before all that. Yeah, that would be a gore line, folks. There was a defense person, there was an attorney there because I wanted to see one. Because I wanted to know what the hell a gore line was, right? And what infraction I caused. What rule did I break? So there was an attorney there, and he saw me. And he looked at the ticket, he goes, what's a gore line? He didn't even know what it was. I had to explain it to him, and he's like, really? And I go, yeah. He goes, now here's what I'll do. He took it he knocked it down from a moving violation, which would have been a ding against my driver's license, to a seatbelt violation, which is not a ding against my driver's license. And he goes, still got to pay the fine, but I've knocked it down for you. Okay, cool. He signed it, blah, 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 did whole 9 yards. Went from there. I didn't know this until later. It didn't dawn on me until later. I thought to myself, you mean he has that kind of power over a judge? Holy crap. I didn't see a judge, but I'm thinking he has that kind of power. He can just change the thing. And wow, I didn't know that. But it's revenue generation. That's all they do. That's all they do. It's just revenue generation. You see those lights on the cars? Hey, by the way, did you know that the assets forfeiture is actually theft? Go look it up. Yeah, any attorneys out there can correct me if I'm wrong. Asset forfeiture is theft by the federal government, by your local police department and sheriff department. You ever seen those buses? I have. I've been on one of those sheriff buses from drug seizures. Holy crap. Big screen TVs. They got, at that time it was a game console. Oh my God, the radios. Holy crap. Hey, let me take a little break here. I'll tell you what's happening. Paranormal Phil, Steve Hembry, and I forget the other guy. There's 3 of them. SRC Paranormal. SRC Paranormal. Yes. They say there is a ghost tour at the Oman House, O-M-A-N, Oman House this weekend in Beverly Hills. Okay? Beverly Hills. The Oman House is about, from what I understood, is about 100 yards away from the spot where, let's just say, a horrific murder happened in the 60s, late 60s. Not going to tell you exactly what it is. You're going to have to go to SRC Paranormal's website to find out more. What's the website, Phil? If anyone... Oh, I see it. Thank you, Phil. If anyone wants to go, Phil is saying, if they are in the area, they can find all of the information for the ghost tour of the Oman House on the SRC Paranormal website, which is srcparanormal.com. There's Philip Pierce, Steve Hembry, and Jacob. They have Jacob. I don't know his last name. I forgot it, actually. I remembered the three, and now I forgot. But anyway, go to srcparanormal.com for more information about the ghost tour of the Oman House in Beverly Hills, California. I would love to go there because I saw that on Ghost Adventures and on Ghost Hunters. And let's just say, I'm kind of intrigued. It's piqued my interest. I also have a paranormal group called Western Nevada Paranormal. We do paranormal investigations. We don't try to prove or disprove anything. We just try to figure out what's going on. That's basically it, folks. But if there are things that we cannot explain, if there are things that are just seem way out of the normal, they obviously are paranormal. Okay? So if you have any questions, please email me or go to, let me give you the, whoops. Let me give you the website as soon as I find it, because I totally and absolutely forgot it. Actually, it's a Monday, folks. Give me a break, okay? God. Go to Western Nevada Paranormal on Facebook. Go check it out. Western Nevada Paranormal on Facebook. You'll get all the information there. And if you have any questions, please ask. Yes, please ask. More than happy to tell you what you need to know. If you're in the Reno, Nevada, Sparks, Nevada, Carson City, Nevada area, please, or Lake Tahoe, please let us know. You can email me at the email address on Facebook at Western Nevada Paranormal. Yes. It's interesting, really, when you get right down to it. Seriously? You can email me on Facebook. Just go to Western Nevada Paranormal on Facebook. Email me from there. There you go. That works. So if you want to go, if you're in the Beverly Hills area and you want to go on a ghost tour at the Oman House, please contact SRC Paranormal at srcparanormal.com. Yes, there you go. Anyway, Phil says there's always something new every time he goes, because he's been there quite a while. Sometimes they have cameras there that are live on, I don't know if it's on the website, Phil, or if it's at Ustream, I'm not sure. So Just let me know, and I will convey that to my audience. So if you're into the paranormal, please go to srcparanormal.com. Check them out. Ask them anything you like. Also, go to Western Nevada Paranormal on Facebook. Ask me. I'll be more than happy to tell you what you need to know. So, there we go. If, getting back to this whole thing, getting back to what's happening in the Silver State of Nevada, you know, this is true throughout the country. Now, we can look at the governors and we can ask ourselves, why aren't the governors doing what they need to do to uphold their oath to the Constitution and the Bill of Rights of the United States of America? And that question's been floating around in my mind for quite some time. Why don't the governors just tell the BLM, get the hell out? Because the BLM, yes, is, let me go here. I am going to my favorite search engine, and I will tell you exactly what the BLM is. In specifically Nevada. Now, let me also tell you that in 1843, Nevada was brought into the rest of the United States. It was, I believe it was 1843. And it was fought over, and it was taken from Mexico. Yes. And that's just the BLM website. We don't want that. They're going to lie to you. But from 1877, Mr. Cliven Bundy and his family have owned the land. His great-great-grandfather probably owned the land. His great-grandfather probably owned the land, did own the land. Not probably. I'm sure his grandfather owned the land, and his father owned the land. But it was all grandfathered in prior to the growth or to the implementation of the Bureau of Land Management. After the Bureau of Land Management came into existence, they came to him and said, you got to start paying fees. He went, really? Then he found out a few other things. And he's not paying his fees. Grazing fees for his cows, folks. He's a cattle rancher that puts food on your table. Got it? People are all pissed off at the fact, or probably even questioning the fact that maybe, well, what is he going to do now? Does he still owe the fees? He said, Cliven Bundy said, that he's all for paying the fees. Legitimate fees that he knows he has to pay, he will pay them to Clark County and the state of Nevada, not to the federal government. So he's not paying the Bureau of Land Management, which is a private contracted company for the District of Columbia. And if you don't believe that, go to stopthecrime.net. Here's my 2 cents worth on that. Abolish the BLM. Public land is public land, and it's owned by you and I. Got it? Public land owned by you and I. We the people. Now, what makes you think that any organization funded by the government, actually funded by your tax dollars, what makes you think that any organization, any contracted private company with the United States government, Washington, D.C., can come in and tell you what you can do on your own property? By the way, folks, a little side note. property taxes weren't implemented until I think somewhere about 1953, 54. And if you trace the property tax, if it did come about in 1954, if you trace that back, you will find the fingerprints of the Bilderberg Group through the United Nations. Now, I could be wrong in that, and please correct me if I am. But you will find a lot of your taxes and a lot of the money that you now have to pay, according to the federal government, came all of those documents that said, oh, well, let's sign this, let's make this in the law, let's put this in here, and the people are going to have to do it. Incremental laws, which took away your rights, are now laws of the land given and overseen by the federal government. But all your taxes and everything have come directly from the idea, the ideologies, the implementation of those folks in the Bilderberg Group, formed in 1954, and everything that they do is funneled through the United Nations, or funneled from the United Nations to them. And then they go to the City of London, they go to the Vatican, they go to Washington, D.C., and they say, here's what you're going to do. It's not the United States of America that says, and the president saying, ladies and gentlemen, here's what we're going to do for your benefit. No. The president of the United States gives you 8 million ways to die, basically. I'm just using that facetiously. When a person is elected president, they walk into the Oval Office and several people in suits walk in saying, yeah, Mr. President, we know what you said on the campaign trail, but we don't represent you or the people. We represent other people, and here's what you will do. And if the person, the president-elect, stands there looking at them sheepishly, these people in these suits will look at the president and go and say one word: Kennedy. Oh yeah, Kennedy wanted to do everything to get rid of the elites. He talked about the elites. He talked about secret societies. He talked about all that. And guess what? Well, we know the history of President John Fitzgerald Kennedy. His brother, Robert Kennedy, was the same way. My brother did this, and I'm going to do this, and blah, blah, blah. And he started really getting under the skin of the elites. And so, well, they set up another patsy other than Lee Harvey Oswald. They set up a guy by the name of Sirhan Sirhan. And by the way, none of the shots that killed Robert F. Kennedy came from the gun that Sirhan Sirhan had. Don't give me this crap that's a conspiracy theory. That's all on record. It's all documented. And it's all right out there in your face. You don't want to believe it. That's your problem. I told you last year I wasn't going to hold anything back. And I'm not. Free America Radio at USA.com is the email. FreeAmericaRadio.us is the website. Thank you, Bob Brutus, for putting me on WakingUpTheMasses.com. One last thing from Philip Pierce and SRCParanormal.com. They broadcast their investigations on Ustream, and there is a link on the website. And they said they're heading up in this area at some point. So I'm looking forward to working with them. So anyway, ladies and gents, men and women of all ages, boys and girls, look at the three-ring circus of politics. And you ask me, who the hell is in the middle of the ring? FreeAmericaRadio.us is the website. FreeAmericaRadio@USA.com is the email address. I shall be here tomorrow, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on Spreaker.com, FreeAmericaRadio.us, and WakingUpTheMasses.com. I'm also broadcasting 1610 a.m. in the Chickamauga, Georgia area. And I want you to go out and I want you to look at the government and give them a giant middle finger. I'm just saying, you can do whatever you want, but that would be cool. If you got stories, articles, websites, radio shows, please pass them on to me. freeamericaradio@usa.com. I will promote your show for free. But if you're an advertiser, want to sell something, that's a different story. So please email me at freeamericaradio@usa.com and we'll work something out. Talk to you guys later. Have a great Monday. I will see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on Free America Radio Network.